quite spring here in southern Oregon. As you saw from the sign, they recommend that I carry chains. Well, I don't think chains are going to do me any good on a motorcycle, so I'm not carrying chains, but I am heading up, hopefully not into some snow, but I'm going to do a loop today. It's a loop that I oftentimes do. It just takes a few hours up and through part of the Cascade-Siskiyou National Monument. And it's a nice day out. It's going to get to be about 70. Winter has been lingering on, so I'll take the opportunity to get the KTM 390 out. The real reason, or the main reason why I'm going for a ride today, well, I shouldn't say it's the main reason. One of the reasons I'm going for a ride today is that I got new riding boots. And I realized that over the many years that I've ridden motorcycles, I've had an evolution of an upgrade in my riding boots, shoes, my riding zapatos. And it's been an interesting change over the course of 50 years of riding a motorcycle. And I'm sure some of you who have been riding motorcycles for a long time will relate to this as I go back on memory lane on what I have used to cover my feet when I ride a motorcycle. If you'd like to see the various footwear that I've worn over the course of years riding the motorcycles, stick around for this video. Well, I got my first ride when I was in high school. I'd say what I got was a mini bike, and I don't remember exactly where it showed up from, but I did a lot of work on it. It was just a basic Briggs & Stratton 5 horsepower engine, I believe. And of course I didn't have a license for it. I just would run around in my semi-rural neighborhood trying to avoid the police. But I'm sure what I wore back in the day is whatever clothes I had on. Probably something like Keds sneakers or Converse All-Star high tops. But, you know, I had no concern about my footwear. I was more concerned with avoiding getting caught by the law. And then I got a Honda Sport 50 when I was just right out of high school. And I'm sure I mostly was just wearing sneakers still. But I might have wore something a little bit more substantial, like a leather shoe, but I don't think I put much thought into it back then either. And then when I was in college, I picked up a 1970 Honda CL350 Scrambler. Wow, that bike, I liked that bike. It was always been one of my favorites. It definitely had a off-the-road kind of look to it, even though I didn't really ever take it off the road. But that was about the same time as I was really getting into hiking and backpacking and outdoors. I even got jobs working in the outdoors, and so I was able to pick up a pair of Vask hiking boots with Vibram soles. Now, I grew up in Northeast Ohio, and there was nowhere to buy that type of gear, so I had to mail order it from REI in Seattle. At that time, that was the only REI store. Back in, I've been a member since 1969 when I bought these boots. So I would ride my Honda CL350 sometimes with tennis shoes, but I think I mostly wore my leather mid-top Vask hiking boots. But I can remember too, there were times that I would just jump on that bike wearing a pair of shorts and some sandals and, you know, running over to a friend's house or something. Man, if I would have fallen over, I would have lost the entire foot and toes and skin and everything else. But hey, you know, when you're 19 or 20, you're going to live forever, right? Well, I continued to ride wearing hiking boots for many, many years. I got a few additional motorcycles since my Honda CL350, and my footwear of choice was always a hiking boot, kind of a mid-range hiking boot. You know, I didn't really think about protection. What was I trying to protect? I think mostly I was trying to keep my ankle or my foot from being burned from the exhaust or from the engine. I guess I didn't think about falling much, having the bike fall on it, because I had never had that happen. Well, then in 2021, I took the leap to go into adventure motorcycle riding with a purpose-built adventure motorcycle. And that was my 2021 Yamaha Tenere 700. Well, now there's a completely different motorcycle from what I was used to riding. And I went to pick up some gear from a local cycle apparel shop. And the lady helping me suggested that I upgrade to adventure boots. And, you know, I didn't really know much about them at all. And there was another customer there that had a pair, or was on their second pair, and they said they really highly recommended that I get the Forma leather adventure motorcycle riding boot. And I thought they were super expensive, but I went ahead and did it to protect my bottom part of my leg and my ankle, as I learned is needed if you're going to do any off-road riding. So I've had those Formas and worn them for 3 years now, and they're comfortable. I can walk in it. They're flexible, which is part of the problem, is that they're leather, which makes them flexible. But I did one time have my Tenere 700 drop on me. I was going 0 miles an hour and the bike just fell over, and it pinned me underneath the bike. I was riding all alone. It was late in the day, and I could feel the bike pinning on my ankle. It took me a while to lift the bike up from an awkward position enough to get my leg out from underneath it, and my ankle hurt. I was fortunate is that it didn't really injure my ankle. I think it was just bruised. So, but that kind of put the fear in me that just the weight of the bike alone could really do some damage, even though I was wearing an adventure motorcycle boot. Well, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, you know, over the course of the last couple years, and especially since I had a motorcycle accident in Mexico in 2022. Now that accident damaged my knee, but it did not damage my ankle or my foot, to the best of my knowledge. But I started to think a lot more seriously about injuries to my bones, since I really damaged my knee and my tibia, my fibia. And I saw a lot of riders more experienced than me, riding larger bikes than me, riding a lot more miles than me, a lot of them seem to recommend one brand in particular. There's a lot of adventure motorcycle boots out there. There's a ton. And they kind of cross over into motocross style boots and enduro boots. And the boot that they recommended, a lot of them did, is the Alpenstars Tech 7. And I took my KTM in for some maintenance work at my local KTM dealer a couple months ago, and they had KTM Alpenstar 7s there. That was basically all they were selling. So I picked up a pair of them. I said, you know, they're expensive. This is the waterproof one, $430 or so, give or take. And that's what I'm wearing right now. So how are those boots working for me, and was that a good choice? Well, you know, this is only my third ride, and the first two rides I spent just trying to get so I could shift gears. The boot is bigger, it's stiffer, it's not made out of leather, and so I had to do not only adjustments to my shifting lever, but I had to do adjustments to the placement of the boot on the peg, and also kind of how I shift. So this ride today, I'm practicing it. It seems to be working all right. I missed, you know, every once in a while I'll miss it and I won't be able to bring the gear up to a higher gear. That's mostly where the problem is. It's not going down to a lower gear, it's going up. But it'll be fine. I think I'm getting there. I had the same problem when I bought the Formas. I could not shift. I was so used to wearing kind of a flimsy hiking boot that the Forma, which was much more substantial on the toe, took me a while to learn how to shift with it and to adjust the bike as well. The Alpenstars, to me, are just as comfortable as the Formas. I think the Formas are more flexible if you want to walk quite a ways. I've got a video where I did a hike and bike, and the Formas were definitely okay to hike in. I think the Alpenstars are okay around camp and if you want to go into a grocery store, but I wouldn't really hike on them very far. So, am I glad that I bought the Alpenstars? I don't know. It's too early yet. This is only my third ride, so I don't want to jump the gun. But I do want to protect my lower leg and my ankle, having been damaged already. And I do think the Alpenstars offers quite a bit more of protection since they're very stiff. And I've downsized my bike, sold my T7, so I've got the KTM 390, quite a bit lighter. So not only did I get a more heavy-duty boot, I've got a lighter bike. So I feel pretty good about the protection that I've got right now. Am I gonna sell the Formas? No, I'm going to keep them because I'll still use them. I think if I'm mostly going to be on pavement like today, I can still wear the Formas. But if I'm going to do any amount of off-road riding, then that's what the Alpenstars are for. What a beautiful day out here. Well, that is the evolution of my footwear through my motorcycle life. Starting out with sandals, low-top sneakers, then getting a pair of leather hiking boots, which served me for probably 30 or 40 years just using hiking boots. And then evolve into actual adventure motorcycle boots with the Formas, and now up to the very protective Alpenstar Tech 7s. That's quite an evolution. Well, I'm sure you've got stories about your motorcycle boot life too. I'd like to hear some of them. Leave some comments if you'd like. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on one of my senior moments.